Have you ever wondered how to survive in a forest with nothing but your bare hands? Welcome to the wilderness, where every step is a challenge and every decision matters. Today we're delving into the art of survival, and the first step is understanding the importance of shelter. It is your bastion against the elements, your safe haven amidst the wild. The thought of building a shelter with just your bare hands might seem daunting, but with the right knowledge, it's entirely possible. Your first task in survival shelter building is selecting the right location. Now, there are a few key factors to consider when choosing this spot. First and foremost, safety. You want to ensure that the location is free from any potential hazards. Look out for things like dead trees that might topple over or areas prone to flooding. Next, consider the proximity to resources. You'll need access to things like water and firewood, so setting up near a stream or a dense patch of woodland can be beneficial. But remember, don't get too close to the water source to avoid attracting unwanted wildlife. Also, think about the terrain. A flat, dry spot is ideal for a comfortable night's sleep. Sheltered areas, like the base of a large tree or a cliff, can also provide some added protection against the elements. Lastly, consider the direction of the wind. You wouldn't want the chilly breeze creeping in through the night. Remember, a good location can be the difference between a restful night and a struggle for survival. Once you've found the perfect spot, it's time to gather your materials. Now, building a survival shelter is no small task. It requires patience, ingenuity, and a keen eye for detail. The first thing you need to do is gather sturdy branches. These will serve as the backbone of your shelter, providing it with the necessary support to withstand the elements. You'll want to find branches that are thick and robust, but also flexible enough to bend without breaking. Next, you'll need smaller twigs. These will be used to fill in the gaps between the larger branches, creating a lattice work of sorts, which will help to provide additional stability to your shelter. Look for twigs that are relatively straight and of uniform thickness for the best results. But don't forget the leaves. Not only do they add a touch of natural beauty to your shelter, they also serve a very practical purpose. Leaves can be used to insulate your shelter, helping to trap heat and provide a barrier against the wind and rain. When gathering leaves, try to find ones that are dry and crisp. These will provide the best insulation. Remember, safety is paramount. Always ensure that you're gathering materials in a safe and efficient manner. Avoid any branches or twigs that may be home to insects or other creatures, and never overreach or strain yourself. Gathering materials is a crucial step, and the quality of your resources can greatly impact the strength of your shelter. With your materials at hand, you're ready to start building the framework of your shelter. The process of building the framework is a task that requires both patience and precision. This is the skeleton of your shelter, and a strong foundation will ensure its durability and stability. So let's dive right into the process. Firstly, you'll want to locate two sturdy trees that are roughly 6 to 8 feet apart. This distance can be adjusted based on your height and the desired size of your shelter. Now take your longest, most robust branch and secure it horizontally between these two trees. This will serve as your ridgepole, the spine of your framework. Next, begin to position your smaller branches along the ridgepole. These branches should be arranged in a descending order, from tallest at the center to shortest at the ends. This will create a natural slope for your shelter, assisting with rain runoff and wind deflection. It's important to ensure each branch is securely fastened to the ridgepole. This can be achieved by using vines, cordage, or even strips of bark. Now it's time to reinforce your structure. For this, you'll want to use your thinner branches and sticks. These should be placed diagonally along the length of your ridgepole, creating a lattice-like structure. This will not only strengthen your framework, but also provide additional support for your insulation materials. Remember, while constructing your shelter, ensure that it is large enough to accommodate you comfortably, but not so large that it becomes a challenge to warm up. A snug, well-built shelter can be a lifesaver in a survival situation, providing you with protection from the elements and a secure place to rest. Lastly, once your framework is complete, give it a good shake. This will help you identify any weak points that require reinforcing. It's better to discover these now, rather than in the middle of a storm when it's too late to make any adjustments. A strong framework is the backbone of your shelter, providing you with protection from the elements. With the framework in place, it's time to insulate your shelter. Insulation is key to maintaining warmth and providing a barrier against the elements, such as wind and rain. Now, smaller twigs and leaves become our best friends in this task. Start by gathering smaller twigs. These will be used to create a dense layer over your shelter's framework. This twig layer not only adds strength to our structure, but also forms an effective wind barrier. Next, we turn to leaves. Leaves serve as nature's blanket, trapping air and creating a layer of insulation that can keep you warm, even in the chilliest nights. Pile them on, the more the merrier. And don't just stop at the roof. Make sure to insulate the sides of your shelter too. Remember, the goal here is to make your shelter as snug and sealed off from the outside world as possible. Proper insulation is the final touch that makes your shelter a safe and comfortable haven in the wilderness. Now that we've explored the process of building a survival shelter, let's review the key points. We started by choosing a location, and remember, it's crucial to consider factors like proximity to water, exposure to elements, and the terrain. Then, we moved on to gathering materials. Nature provides abundantly, so be resourceful and use what's around you, like branches, leaves, and moss. Next came the construction of our framework. This is the skeleton of the shelter and needs to be sturdy. We used larger branches and logs and created a simple yet effective lean-to design. Finally, we insulated our shelter. Insulation is a key factor in maintaining warmth, so we packed it with leaves and moss for maximum heat retention. Surviving in the wilderness requires knowledge, resourcefulness, and a bit of hard work. But with these skills under your belt, you'll be well prepared for whatever Mother Nature throws your way.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe by pressing button below.